So Donald Trump and MAGA, idiots. And here's proof. I haven't heard. So Donald Trump went to the National Association of Black Journalists conference where he finally got a tough interview, and Mr. Tough Guy couldn't handle it. He called the woman nasty because she asked him about comments that he said. He didn't deny him, thankfully, but he did lie. But the thing that makes me most upset, I'm calling out black conservatives and black liberals that are still on the Trump train. One thing that Trump said after he got all flustered and to try to defend himself, he said he did more for black people than any president since Abraham Lincoln. You know how stupid it is to suggest that Donald Trump did more for the black community than Ulysses S. Grant? Do you know how stupid that is? Ulysses S. Grant, who helped Abraham Lincoln win the Civil War. General Grant, who took over the army as general after the North was losing the fight, he took over the army and smashed the Confederates to smithereens. Ulysses S. Grant, who became president after Lincoln was assassinated and somehow not only held the Republican Party together, but brought it to extreme prominence and respect. That Ulysses S. Grant. The Ulysses S. Grant that pushed to allow black men to fight in the Civil War. That Ulysses S. Grant that armed black Americans for the first time. That Ulysses S. Grant. Trump did more for black people than Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant that appointed one of my ancestors, Hiram Revel Rhodes, to the Senate. The first black chaplain in the United States history. My great-grandfather. Well, great, whatever. But you talk about black conservatives. How come no black conservatives, at least these popular ones, these viral ones, these outrageous ones, they never talk about my ancestor, Hiram Revel Rhodes. You're supposed to be black and conservative. You don't talk about him. You don't talk about Ulysses S. Grant. Let's get back to President Grant, the man on the $50 bill. Did you know, here's a fun fact about Ulysses S. Grant. So Ulysses S. Grant had a crazy life. You know, he was, the room, that's what's so crazy. After Ulysses S. Grant did all he did, led the Union to victory, continued Abraham Lincoln's legacy, defended Abraham Lincoln's legacy. After all he went through, you know what he got criticism for? Drinking too much alcohol. You know how much death that man saw? Do you know what it's like? Read about the Civil War. That is believed to be the bloodiest war in history. At least definitely the Civil War. You could look at world wars where they was actually exterminating large swaths of people. But look at the numbers of the Civil War. It's crazy. It's crazy. These dudes was fighting very crazy strategies, just lining up and shooting each other in the face with muskets and cannons. That's something, too, I want to point out in this video. You know, some of the black militants go too far. I am conservative. I'm a conservative. I'm not like the weirdos that are all popular and viral for some reason. The Candace Owens type and all that. They're not real Republican. Candace Owens says herself, I was a Democrat my whole life. Yeah, it shows. You argue like an angry feminist. Anyway, yeah, I don't care. I'm offending both sides of this party. But I'm mad about that. How dare Trump say that about Ulysses S. Grant? And how dare nobody in the Republican Party call him on that? He did more for black people since any president since Abraham Lincoln. How many? Abraham Lincoln got assassinated almost 200 years ago. Are you freaking kidding me? All the progress that has come to black people since Abraham Lincoln, Donald Trump did more. First of all, things ain't great right now. You could talk about black Renaissance eras, again, under Ulysses S. Grant. Reconstruction. Defending the country. You know, if Grant does get a lot of criticism, but can't nobody say he didn't accomplish much or he didn't do anything for the black people. He gets criticism because he did, you know, he drank a lot. He actually got a speeding ticket as president. He got a speeding ticket on a horse He was in a horse and carriage. He got a speeding ticket from a black officer, a black police officer who was a veteran of the Civil War. Could you imagine a black officer trying to give Trump a ticket for something that he did wrong? Could you imagine that? Again, Trump should never be compared to great men like Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, or even people from more modern times. He shouldn't even be compared to Obama, and this is coming from a lifelong conservative who has never, 46 years old, I've never voted for a Democrat to be president. Never. I will now. Kamala Harris is getting my vote. 100% sure, and I don't care what anybody says about it. None of the issues matter. I'm pro-life. I'm happy I'm one of these weirdos that I'm happy Roe versus Wade is overturned, and I hope and pray that they can't turn it back. That's not right. Y'all had Roe versus Wade for at least 50 years. Abortion still ain't illegal. Chill out, man. Let some states have no abortion for a little while. It's absolutely disgusting, the practice that Americans do. Millions of abortions a year, and mostly 99.9% because of recreational, frivolous sexual practices like we're animals in heat. Anyway, hey, I said I was a black conservative. It is what it is. But even on a conservative note, we have to conserve the union. Donald Trump is absolutely ridiculous. Again, I'm conservative. So Project 2025, some of it, like even Trump said. I mean, and I guess that's what all conservatives say when they look at that. They like, some of this stuff is crazy and extreme, but you probably like some of the stuff. But again, the stuff that's crazy, that's such a slippery slope. They really are trying to make a theocracy. I believe in God. I love the Bible, but no, that's way too far. Instead of replacing elected officials with party officials and party loyalists, it seemed like y'all setting up some. Even if Trump doesn't live long enough, then the next president after him will use those powers and abuse them. We don't need that right now. If we happen to go to war, then it is what it is. Then that's when you start making special, crazy, extreme laws. But no. And we don't want Trump. Trump, again, think about this. Trump went to Wharton, and he don't know anything about Ulysses. It's either one or two things. He either don't know about Ulysses S. Grant or he doesn't respect him. It's either one or the other. He either doesn't respect Ulysses S. Grant or he doesn't know anything about Ulysses S. Grant. And that shouldn't just be an insult to black people. That should be an insult to all Americans. Hell, even Robert E. Lee respected General Grant. Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like, they talk about white supremacists, and people like Candace Owens have shown us and proven to us the scientific proof there are black white supremacists. She thinks the white race is better, and she said it so many times. The black community sucks. The white community is great. Yeah, and I don't think you know. I don't think you've been to this roller skating rink parties that I went to growing up in Chicago. Chicago is amazing. Black people in Chicago are amazing. It does kind of suck today. Last Blood Billiken parade I went to, you need to step your game up. We got to live up to our legacy, man. Chicago is one of the greatest cities, possibly the greatest city in the history of the world. Land of Lincoln. We consider Springfield his home place, Springfield, Illinois. We consider that the home place of Abraham Lincoln. But yeah, man, Donald Trump said he was the best president. He did more for black people since, again, even Democrat. You can name so many Democrat presidents. Voting Rights Act, the New Deal, so many things. Are you kidding me? Hell, Reagan was horrible when you know about the Iran-Contra affairs and the crack cocaine explosion, Gary Webb. Why did crack neighborhoods pop up coast to coast? The CIA did it. And we know they did it. We got the paperwork. Dark Alliance. Oliver North. So yeah, man, It's arguable that Ulysses S. Grant did more for black people than Abraham Lincoln. That's the one person you can actually make that argument for. But Donald Trump, I'm sick of Donald Trump, man. I'm so sick of Donald Trump. I never registered as a Republican because Donald Trump isn't the first idiot to disrespect the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant. And more Republicans who believed in that type of republicanism. Trump made a Bible. He has the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, but he somehow left the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, I do think it's blasphemous. You shouldn't be adding books to the Bible. It literally says that. It literally says on the last page of the Bible, when you read in Revelations, the very last sentence of Revelations, this is a study Bible, so a dictionary at the end of it. So I'm gonna read the last 3 chapters of Revelation. I testify to everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to them, God will add to him the plagues which were written in this book. And if anyone takes away from the words of this book of this prophecy, God will take away his part from the tree of life and from the holy city, which are written in this book. He who testifies these things and says, yes, I am coming quickly. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. The grace of Lord Jesus will be with all. Amen. Anyway, he added books, which I don't think he's supposed to do. But if you're going to add books from United States history, why not the Emancipation Proclamation? You're supposed to be carrying on the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and you've destroyed it. Donald Trump shouldn't be mentioning the name of Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant. You know, I made a video about my conspiracy about the shooter. I think the shooter is a Republican, and I think he's a young man. You know, young Republicans, some of us, and I say us, because even though I'm not a registered Republican, I do still identify with Republicans because of my ancestors and Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War and Ulysses S. Grant. I am an American. And whoever wins the presidency, I'm not one of those not my president type of people. So whoever wins the presidency is my president. And I think that young man, you know, he's young, he's 20. And he was like, obviously kind of a political nerd. And people who love the Civil War, here's something to think about too. Most white people who fought in the Civil War, they fought for the North. White people, even when it comes to American, even white people who were not slave owners outnumbered the people who were into slavery. There were always more white people who hated slavery than there were white people that practiced slavery. That's just a fact. And so I am from the North. I live in the South now, but I'm from the North. And I know people who really, really love Abraham Lincoln. I was born in the 70s, and I remember, you know, Donald Trump has ruined the legacy of the Republican Party. When I was a kid, Abraham Lincoln was so respected, man. I ain't gonna say most black homes, but a lot of black homes had a picture of Abraham Lincoln. There's a famous photo of Abraham Lincoln with the stovepipe hat on. That picture was everywhere. People were proud of it, and people would go off on a tangent and tell you about Abraham Lincoln. The way men talk about video games or MMA, that's the way people would talk about Abraham Lincoln, because he really was so fascinating. And he was a scrappy dude. You know, you got the legend of Abraham Lincoln, but what's even more fascinating about Abraham Lincoln is the history of Abraham Lincoln. A self-made man who separated from his father. Him and his father had beef. He ran off and he became a rail splitter. He worked his way through college. He took care of himself. He wasn't trying to impress his father. He was trying to impress God. Abraham Lincoln believed in the Bible. Trump did not. Again, look at Abraham Lincoln's writings. He was a lawyer for a long time. And look at what he did. What type of lawyer was Abraham Lincoln? There's no comparison when it comes to Trump and Abraham Lincoln. None. Donald Trump is like literally the opposite of Abraham Lincoln. And I stand by If Abraham Lincoln could come out the grave, he would slap the shit out of that. No, to be honest, I think Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant would consider him treasonous. And I do think that that young man, he was thinking like that. He was thinking like, now I'm not saying anybody should kill Trump or anything like that. Life is finna kill this man. Life is finna kill this man. He's old. He ain't got much time left. He said something the other day like, the doctor said I could live to be 150. No. You're lucky if you have 10 years left on this earth, Trump, and you're still acting like a conceited asshole. Anyway, please, conservatives, send this clown away. Get rid of MAGA, and we need a Republican. Like, we really do need somebody like Abraham Lincoln. You know, that was the thing about Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant wasn't a great orator like Abraham Lincoln. Only reason he won the presidency is because he was so damn popular, and everybody loved him, and everybody respected him. He was a legendary general. So we need somebody like, we need an orator like Abraham Lincoln to pave the way. Again, the Republican Party and MAGA, they're so anti-intellectual. Was Lincoln anti-intellectual? How did Lincoln feel about education? Again, these two, Abraham Lincoln and Donald Trump, are literally the opposite. And it's like the exact same way Lincoln was trying to save the Union is the exact same way that Trump is tearing it apart. His supporters are talking about we need a civil war. Not doing the math and the calculation. You idiots are idiots. You are very much outnumbered. Again, like I say, there was never a time in American history where most of the white people here were for slavery or pro-slavery. Even like you think about the racism of the Northerners. They might have wanted to be separated and segregated, but at the same time, they don't agree with owning humans or your version of white supremacy. We should breed ourselves into these ultra-white, a new homogenous race, this new white mixed of what we think are the best of European genes. Again, that's the closest to that, you know, Hitler. Somebody tried that in modern history. And again, that was like 100 years ago. Where are we going? These are ideas that, why are they still alive? So yeah, man, I got lots of hope for America. I am happy that Roe versus Wade was overturned. Look into that. People always talking about, people kill me with the research thing. Research. Motherfucker, can you even read? Telling me to research it. Motherfucker, that's all I do. That's what I do for fun. That's my form of autism. All I do is study. All day. Like literally. Just sucking in information. But yeah, man. Donald Trump, man. He just said it again. He keeps saying stupid shit about Abraham Lincoln. But now he insulted Ulysses S. Grant because of the way he finally said it. He's been saying that he's the greatest president and he might be even better than Abraham Lincoln, which is insulting and stupid. But now he said he's done more for black people than any president since Abraham Lincoln. So you're going to insult Ulysses S. Grant, the very next president. I heard somebody bring up Lyndon LBJ and the civil rights movement. Hell, George W. Bush. I promise you, Donald Trump did not do more for the black community than George W. Bush. George W. Bush does not get a lot of credit. But George W. Bush, like Trump is running on MAGA, Make America Great Again, George W. Bush ran on compassionate conservatism. And he really did have a lot of policies that helped veterans, black people, distressed community. Some of his policies, they weren't great. And then some of the religious stuff that he added to it, it did hurt a lot of black people and a lot of families. But at the same time, again, Trump did not do more for the black community than George W. Bush did. Trump has done the least for black communities out of most presidents. Seriously. Like, Trump is insane. Are you gonna? How can Trump compare himself to? We've had some presidents do some amazing things. Kennedy lived a very short time, but we went to the moon because of Kennedy. FDR. Is Trump trying to compare? Trump saying that he did more for anybody than FDR? What about the other Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, another real soldier in the vein of Ulysses S. Grant? Like, are you kidding me? Trump just disrespects. It's not just a disrespect to Black America. It's a disrespect to America, man. Are you kidding me? We're so illiterate these days. The fact that he said he did. I mean, there was a reporter. I think she said LBJ because she called him immediately when he said, "I did more for black people than anybody since Abraham Lincoln." 200 years, fool. You did more for any president. Abraham Lincoln died in what, 1860? Hey, Siri. What year did Abraham Lincoln pass away?
Abraham Lincoln died April 15, 1865 at age 56 in Peterson House.
Yeah, I thought it was 1865. So what is that? That's 180, right? 1865. It's only 69 years. So 169. I think I did the math right. Hey, Siri. What is 2024 minus 1865?
It's 159.
Boy, yeah, my math sucks today. Anyway. I really hate how stupid politics are. And how you have to be stupid, you have to be outrageous to get any traction politically speaking these days, and it's sad. But yeah, man. Donald Trump has got away with everything with impunity. The average person say something that's stupid, somebody would slap the shit out of him. Donald Trump should have got slapped. Now, I'm finna go offline, and I'm gonna continue to watch videos. I'm gonna go watch some videos that Donald Trump's mother made. I saw the thumbnail of that, and I was gonna say, man, I didn't know George Bush and Donald Trump were brothers. You know, it's a joke saying that Abraham Lincoln or Donald Trump's mom looks like Barbara Bush. Rest in peace, Barbara Bush. Don't mean it's a joke. I don't really mean no disrespect to Barbara Bush. So, and again, most Republicans that I respect and that I've met and I've worked with, they've come out against Trump. Dick Cheney spoke out against Trump. Let's see if Siri will give me a quick answer. Hey, Siri. Has Dick Cheney endorsed Donald Trump?
I found this on the web.
I was hoping they would just answer it. What does Dick Cheney say about Donald Trump? Hey, Siri. What does Dick Cheney think of Donald Trump?
Here's what I found.
What does Dick Cheney think of Donald Trump?
I found this on the web.
Oh, wow, it's a YouTube video.
All senior citizens can apply for the 2004 food allowance.
I wasn't expecting it. Man, I hope this don't get copyrighted because I really want to upload this video.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it. Lynn and I are so proud of Liz for standing up for the truth, doing what's right, honoring her oath to the Constitution, when so many in our party are too scared to do so. Liz is fearless. She never backs down from a fight, There is nothing more important she will ever do than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office. And she will succeed. I am Dick Cheney. I proudly voted for my daughter. I hope you will too.
Look it up yourself. What does George Bush say about Donald Trump? Hey Siri, what does George W. Bush think of Donald Trump?
Here's what I found.
It didn't show that right. Hey Siri, what does George W. Bush think of Donald Trump?
I found this on the web.
So this is from Politico. This is an old. I don't think he said anything since 2017. But Bush clearly, and see, that's something to say. Any real Republican would admit Obama was very liberal. His policies, he swung the country way too far to the left. He capitulated to the LGBT lobby way too much. He backed down. He backed down from, he didn't seem to stand on a lot of his principles that he did, but he was still a better president than Donald Trump. I would vote. I didn't vote for Obama the first time around, and I could have. And I will definitely vote for Obama over Trump these days. And there's videos of me saying don't vote for Obama. There's video of me saying don't vote for Trump now too. Even though there were videos of me saying vote for Trump. But again, how much does it take? He said he could shoot somebody on 5th Street. You know what? There's some reasonable scenarios where I could see him shooting somebody on 5th Avenue or 5th Street, whatever he said. But January 6th was way too far. That's treason. That's treason. That's treason. Nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to convict him. Nobody wants to try him for treason. But Donald Trump committed treason. He's a treasonous rat, in my opinion. And again, like I say, the young man, I feel really bad for what happened with the young man. That young man was only 20 years old. If he didn't pick up that gun, and if instead he would have picked up a ballot, he was trying to save the Union, trying to save the Republican Party, in my opinion. People are like, why did he kill him? Trump has talked shit about Abraham Lincoln a few times. And that's just, we don't have that respect for Abraham Lincoln. Like I say, when I was a kid, everybody had so much respect for Abraham Lincoln. Like, seriously, man. Like, seriously. That was one thing that we were still sensitive about Abraham Lincoln as a country when I was a kid. And yeah, I'm 46, but I'm not that old for the country to be this different. Abraham Lincoln is just a joke now. And Donald Trump is the punchline to that joke. Like I say, hopefully Trump wins. I hope Kamala wins. And I hope in the time that this happens, I hope that Kamala Harris wins in such a landslide that it's a message to the Republican Party. Return to the GOP. It's MAGA now. It ain't the GOP. GOP stands for Grand Old Party. This is definitely not the Grand Old Party. Trump completely flipped it. He brought so many new people, these couch potato Republicans that never paid attention to politics because they watched TV. The only attention they paid to politics was what the news said and what they said during the commercial break. Never watched C-SPAN or anything like that. Even though in the 46 years I've been on this earth, how could you have not paid attention to politics? Reagan and all the things that happened during the Reagan era, then the Clintons, all the things that happened to the Clinton era, then the Bushes, and before the Bushes, you had the Gore versus Bush Supreme Court battle, all the protests. Every president in my lifetime has been compared to Hitler and the Antichrist. Now all of a sudden, don't say it about Trump, who's acting the most like a Hitler and an Antichrist. Seriously. Name a president in my lifetime, I said 46 years, name a president more comparable to Hitler than Trump. The Tea Party was walking around with picket signs with Obama's face with a little Hitler mask on it. Which again, how in the hell do you draw a connection? All these years later, I've talked to a lot of them. How the hell do you connect Obama to Hitler? How the hell? I know how you do it. It's a white fear thing. You're trying to suggest that black people want to exterminate white people like the Nazis tried to do to the Ashkenazi and the Sephardic Jews. And who knows, they might have actually took out some ethnicities of Jews that we just don't know about. Anyway, do the right thing. Let's save the Union, save the Republican Party, vote for Kamala Harris, and vote for the Democrats. Give it to them. Give it to them. Give them 4 years. And in the 4 years we have off, Republicans, conservatives, and everybody on the right needs to clean up the party. This is not a comedy show. This is real life. This is real life. Vote blue in 2024, man.